We all got internet personas we hide behind. We all got demons deep inside us.
Hello, how's it going? Phil Swift here. Here to show you the power of flex tape. Hello. I just thought I might do things other than play mediocre video games. I'm just kidding, Mark. I love you, but I don't know. I thought I might actually do something a bit more interesting. Today I'm gonna be reading posts from the Reddit page r/entitled parents, because I like reading stories that make me feel like there's other worse people in life than me. Anyway, and also I kind of want, my brother hates Reddit because apparently it copied from 4chan, even though 4chan, every website's a copy off of everything else. Anyway, so this is kind of also to spite him. And also, a little disclaimer, I have pretty bad dyslexia, so I guess I'm doing this a little bit to, like, help get better at reading, because I like reading these stories, and there's not really much other stuff that I kind of like reading, and this can help me read with, like, out loud and stuff. So if you see any, like, major problems, that's mostly why. And if I'm reading worse than King Anna, well, I've gone a bit too far. Anyway, so today we're gonna be reading 3 stories. The first one is gonna be the first one, and it's called "I'm Always Perfect, and if you say otherwise, you'll be thrown out of school. The rise and fall of an entitled kid." That is like the best title I have ever read for a Reddit post, and that's saying a lot for a Reddit post. I'm just kidding. I love Reddit. Screw you, Graham. Just kidding. Okay. I went to an I went to an elementary school, but like many, there was a gifted program. Basically, one day out of the week, all of the gifted kids in the grade would head down to the classroom right next to the PE field and do more advanced math, science, history, etc. My gifted program also had a theme every year that would be the main focus of learning. One year it was the Mayan rainforest. Next year was China, then art, then Egypt, then ancient Egypt, and then Australia, etc. Let's talk about an entitled brat. I'll call her Celia. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm just gonna call it Celia because I don't care. She was a mousy-looking girl whose nose literally stuck up. No joke. It curled slightly upwards, like the characters from, what was it? The old PBS show about bears. Anyway, it curled slightly upwards. She constantly held up her head. Celia was an art kid and always drew beautiful works of art. Okay, what's so bad about that? I have dyslexia. She also was always getting straight A's. Never once got anything below a B. You think I'm exaggerating? I'm not. She constantly won every event in the school, to the point where barely anybody entered the school events because she would win. So of course Celia was in the gifted program. I did my best to avoid her, and she even had 2 idiot goons that follow her everywhere. Both of the goons had the same name. We'll just call them Natasha 1 and Natasha 2. Well, she picked the most snobby names out of all of them. No offense if your name is Natasha. It's like the odd ones out having stigma against the name Hunter. Natasha, both of the Natashas practically worship Celia, because she was popular. So anyway, in the first year, Celia was in kindergarten. There was no gifted program for this grade level, but Celia was accepted early into the program. Why? Because she was so smart. The Natashas would call out Celia because she was so smart. The Natashas would call out. Celia fed on attention. She was and she would smirk whenever people talked to her. In the first grade, I was accepted into the gifted program. That year, the theme was the Mayan rainforest. Celia spent the whole day with the teacher of the gifted program, who I'll call Miss Darla, cutting out drawings of leaves, jungle animals, and trees out of construction paper and decorating the classroom. I'll admit, it looked great, but in the fact that Miss Darla was feeding her compliments almost every 10 seconds was a little odd. What? That's irritating when a teacher, let me just have a little interlude. That is the most irritating ever when a teacher treats one kid over everybody else. I mean, I can understand it if a teacher just doesn't like one kid because he's a jerk, but treating one kid above everybody else because their mother has a lot of money, well, that's just unfortunate. Anyway, at the end of each year, the students in the gifted program would have a final project relating to the subject they learned. I had created a 3D model of a horned frog, which wasn't that great. I don't care. But Celia came to school with her mother, carrying a giant painting of the rainforest. The whole class was in shock. It practically was like a photo and was 8 feet by 3 feet. Her mother, who we'll just call Pam, proudly displayed her child's artwork over top all of the other classmates' drawings. Nobody dared to move it. One student got too close to Celia's painting, but Pam practically hissed like a snake. Hiss. Pam frightened me beyond belief. When we would vote on who did the best project at the end of the year, at the end of every year, Celia won. Of course, who would have guessed? The next year, the theme was China. Celia had once again decked out the whole room with Chinese drawings she made, and even took the classes on how to learn Chinese. The absolute madman. Miss Darla would allow her to come up to the front of the class and help her teach sometimes. Seriously, anybody who tried to question this received death stares from Celia. And yes, even a stern talking to from Pam. Oh, I did forget. Pam was the president of the PTA and was in our gifted classroom almost every day. She even graded our assignments when Miss Darla wasn't able to. Seriously, or slowly but surely, Celia was taking over the gifted program. That is mildly unfortunate. During this year, a little website, you might have heard of it, called Google. You might have heard of it. It's not that popular. Anyway, wanted a new logo. They often have a day where child's drawings would become the Google logo for a day or two. Nearly everyone in the school entered, and guess who won? Celia, of course. Her picture of the Google logo, surrounded by fairies, displayed their website. She also won the end of the year project, again, making a 3D model of the Great Wall of China. Yay! This is how 2 years went on. Let me make sure this is still recording. It is. Good. Out of thousands of competitions our school had, from writing from writing to art to science to spelling, even the track racing, Celia won all of them. There were only a handful of times where she didn't win, but she always got top 3. I know I didn't say that right, but I don't care. I'm not going back. I'm dyslexic. I only beat her once, which was the year we had the Egypt theme. I made a giant puppet theater of the gods and goddesses from that time period, and I told the story of how the world was created in Egyptian lore. Celia also made a puppet show, but hers wasn't as detailed as mine, and I won the prize. But guess what the heck frick? What? Guess the heck frick what? Pam accused me of stealing her daughter's puppet show idea, an actual quote. Look at that puppet show. Her parents had to have built that by themselves. She clearly couldn't have done that by herself. She is a cheater. Oh, did I mention that Pam was a professional artist and sculptor, whose works of art looked like Celia's art style. Wink wink foreshadowing. Miss Darla didn't give Celia the prize though, and there was a class vote. Pam and Celia despised me for the rest of the year, and since they had the whole school on strings, it was like target practice for another 2 years, which was when I went to middle school. Celia went to my school too. I'm gonna have to cut out so much of this. Celia went to my school too, and so did her mother. Once again, president of the PTA. This school had a full-time gifted program, and Celia was enrolled along with me. She still won everything. She still ruled the school, and even though Natasha won was somewhere else, not even in the same state anymore, Natasha too still treated her like a queen. Celia was eventually caught cheating at the spelling bee. Pam had been actually blinking her eyes to communicate Morse code to her daughter on stage. You can't make this up. You can't make this heck frick up. She also was caught entering paintings with sloppily covered watermarks. These paintings were discovered to have been done by her mother as well. But Pam didn't see this as an issue. She's an angel, and I'm president of the PTA. You can't expel her. I'll expel anyone who dares to stand in her way. An actual quote, but one spread around the school, so take it with a grain of salt. I actually have no idea how Celia stayed in the school. She clearly cheated on everything in the school. In raffles at the school, she would win the best baskets. Pam also called out ticket numbers, and whenever Celia would win, her ticket stubs would always be suspiciously bent, while everyone else's were straight. On the essays, she used words that many top scientists didn't even know. On her tests, she never had her phone confiscated. And who followed her around every class? Pam. I'm not kidding. She seriously would go to every heck frick class with her daughter. And there would be a few times where she wasn't there, but she was always in the school. During independent work, she would crouch next to her daughter's desk to help her. Yes, that is what you're supposed to do when you're harboring a genius. Help her on everything. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Not let them have challenge. No, you're supposed to help on every little bit. Yeah, that's not what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to train a genius. I went to a different high school than Celia, but along the way, Natasha came to her senses and left Celia. Natasha too went to Celia's high school, to which she fed me the news a year after I graduated. I graduated 1 year early. Celia had graduated 2 years early, while being spoon-fed success by her mother. Once she entered college, Pam no longer had control over her teachers. After 3 weeks of college, Celia dropped out. The absolute madman. Due to her grades becoming worse and her refusal to play fair in activities, she attempted to apply for a college, or no. She attempted to apply for a high-end job, but was turned down due to having no college education. Maybe it's because she dropped out because she was stupid. Pam threw a hissy fit, but didn't get her way. Celia now lives with her mother, jobless, and can't even help her in the art studio because guess what? She never knew how to paint. Yes, those beautiful pieces of artwork was done by her mother. The only thing that Celia had any artistic talent in was cutting out shapes of construction paper. Pretty much any kid with an entitled parent may turn out like this. This isn't the future you want for your child. You can't hand them success. You can't manipulate others to treat them like royalty, because everyone suffers in this. I still have no idea how Pam managed to get away with this I am really bad at reading. I still don't understand how Pam managed to get away with all of this. I and many others from my school watched it play out in front of our eyes. Come to think of it, Pam and Celia might make a good Shakespeare villain. Oh, well, sometimes you win. I was gonna make an inspirational quote, but I don't know very much about Shakespeare, and I really don't care. Edit. Some of you in this case have been saying r/that happened. I tried to include as many details as I could remember, even if I knew where to find the Google art. It may show her real name in the article, which was not allowed on the subreddit. That's fair. Anyway, well, that's a pretty interesting story. I have tea and I'm gonna drink it now because it was really hot, and I'm gonna hopefully not burn my tongue. Oh, the man's not hot. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting story. It's really sad though to hear about these stories where parents will spoil their children into the so much, like they'll spoil their children so much where they want them to be successful and want everybody else to think they're successful, but the kid will just be as dumb as a box of rocks. It's sad because the parent in this situation is essentially ruining the kid's life by treating it like this. You just need to let your kid learn. And I don't know if you ever heard of this this online school. It's called K-12. It's not really good for learning. Just in case you were planning on using K-12, just don't. Anyway, yeah, it's really messed up how parents will essentially spoon feed their children's success until they get out into the real world and pretty much can only hold a job at Subway. Subway, I meant to say. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to try to cut out as much of the stuttering and misreading, but there's probably too much for me to be able to cut out in this video, so I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. Yeah, I hope this becomes an actual... I genuinely like reading these, and I think this can help me with my whole problem with reading. Anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed. Let me think of anything else, hold on. No, I can't really think of anything else. There will be more videos like this in the future, I guess. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Time I started changing, rearranging my mind into the lowest fruit hanging, dangling, and picked it like a flower to pretend that it was me, and let it take me over. It was all that I could see, and my true self faded into context. I started seeing all the evil in the world, quantified time and bomb threats, honestly drifted to something out of movie scene. I no longer remember who it is I truly used to be. Now I'm just an anxious mess. 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 Now I'm just an anxious mess with an aching neck, 'cause I can't stop looking back. Now I'm just an anxious mess, taking shaking steps, hoping I'll get off this path.
I could try to act like it doesn't affect me at all, but I'm really scared of the future. I used to stand so tall, they used to be so proud. I couldn't even hide myself in the crowd. But somehow it's now when everything's changed. I'm wondering why every day feels the same. I'm searching and looking for something to say, when really it should be, no, I'm not okay. I've been trying so hard to find my escape, but really I don't know how long that will take. Today or tomorrow, I'll swim in my sorrow, but I could use a smile that I could share or borrow. But secretly I'll keep it just for myself, and please don't come closer, I don't want your help.